Ahoy there, Chummers, and welcome to the Sixth World, and this is the second time I'm recording this video because the first time I recorded everything and my microphone decided it just wasn't going to work at all, and I didn't find out about it until I went to go edit everything, and it was completely 100% silent. So, yeah, that's always fun when that happens. So, anyway, pushing aside my annoyance and frustration, we are going to talk about the London Sourcebook for Shadowrun 2nd Edition, published in 1991. Now, before we get started with this review, I just want to forewarn you that this book by Carl Sargent and Mark Gascoigne? I don't know how to say that. I'm not gonna continue to butcher it, but this book is very, very 80s and very, very British. So, if you don't like those particular things, then leave a dislike and leave a hate comment below, because that'll show the algorithm that this video is utter trash. Anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at it. So, the London Sourcebook details not just London, but the entirety, more or less the entirety, of Great Britain in the Sixth World, and specifically how Great Britain has fared since the Awakening, how the Awakening has changed. Before you get into how the Awakening has changed, it talks a little bit about the UK in general, and a little bit about what life is like in the UK, what the populace is like, and that sort of thing. And it also goes into how that populace has adapted and how the country has changed and adapted to the changing realities of the Sixth World, specifically how things like magic, the return of magic, and the Awakening have affected the country. Because if you will remember from your very basic Shadowrun lore located in one of the core books, when the Awakening happened and magic started returning back to the world, ley lines started waking up and all sorts of sacred sites started springing up throughout the British countryside. There were standing stones that just popped out of the ground, sacred groves regrew, and so on and so forth. So this book kind of touches on all of that. And when I say touches on all of that, it doesn't really do it justice, because this book goes into a lot of detail. And I mean a lot of detail. This introduction right here says, the London United Kingdom Sourcebook is a supplement for the Shadowrun game system, a comprehensive guide to life in the shadows of the British establishment in the 2050s. It includes detailed notes on the country's history, politics, economics, and crime situation. And when they say detailed and comprehensive, they fraggin' mean it. Because this book has so much information jam-packed into it. The book itself is a little over like 150, 160 pages, and there's a lot of stuff in it. There's a lot. I mean, first and foremost, you got all these British ads scattered throughout the book, which I think are just phenomenal. They're extremely British. As I was saying before. So yeah, it's great. But you'll find this book is set up very similarly to other location source books in Shadowrun. You'll have like, it'll be done as like a travelogue or like an academic text or something like that, and throughout the book you'll have Shadowland comments by different runners that are reading the information, and they'll give you, some additional information, or they'll expand on the information that's been presented, or they'll maybe talk about some rumors associated with some of the information that's been presented. Again, it's a format that should be very familiar to anybody who has experienced a Shadowrun source book, at least in second and third edition. I know in later editions they kind of walked that stuff back a little bit in certain source books, but at least in these source books, the Shadowland information is very much present throughout the book, and this book goes into everything. I'm just gonna say it. It talks about the economics of Great Britain, how much it costs to live in the country, how much different services are, what the British populace as a whole thinks about things like, money, death, food, politics, nobility, that sort of thing. Speaking of nobility, it actually does go into great detail about how the nobility works in Great Britain, and how it works in the Sixth World specifically, especially with different magical societies and magical traditions coming back to the fore. The history of Great Britain starts at kind of the turn of the century, like a lot of the history does. And it kind of talks about, you get a little bit of background information, like late 20th century background information, not really much more beyond that. And then it talks about how all of the trials and tribulations of the early 21st century affected Great Britain and helped to build the society that you find here today. And you would think all of this information that's being presented would be boring as hell, but it's actually really not. Reading this book, I never felt bored. This is definitely stuff that could be extremely dry, especially when you get to governments and politics and that sort of thing. First and foremost, you all know me. Anybody who follows me on Twitter, anybody who has been in this channel for any length of time knows that I love politics. I love talking politics, reading about politics, and so on and so forth. But I will be the first one to admit that politics is really freaking boring in a lot of cases. Not so in this book. It's actually very interesting the way that's been presented, the way it's been written. You've got these little paragraphs and brief little and brief little nuggets of information that make it easy to digest. You're not going to remember all of it at the gaming table. You're going to have to look at this book a couple of times, probably refer back to it once or twice if you're running something set in Great Britain. But it's not a boring book. It really isn't. And again, part of what helps it not be boring is these different ads that are thrown in throughout. Again, very British, very 80s, but I absolutely love them. I think it adds a lot of flavor, a lot more flavor to a book, that really, when you get down to it, it's just it really had the potential to just be dry as hell, and it's really not. I enjoyed it. Even the even the full color sections of the book are great. The full color ads, again, they're very, very 80s, but I love it. I think they're pretty cool. You even got a Universal Brotherhood ad right here. I'm not sure what this guy's supposed to be. A street samurai, maybe? I don't know why he doesn't have a shirt on. I guess those are cyber eyes. He looks pretty happy. I don't know why he's holding a baby. The baby doesn't look happy at all. Everybody else looks kind of happy, except for the elf. She doesn't really look that happy. But again, I absolutely love it. Oh, so this book, do I recommend it? Absolutely yes. If you are going to be running a game set in Great Britain, I think this is an essential book to get. I really don't. I don't think you. I'm trying to think of a way to put it. I think you would be missing out on a lot if you tried to run a game set in Great Britain, or even just a run set in Great Britain, and didn't look at least give this book a cursory glance. It really is a very useful book, and it gives you all of the information that you could ever want and need when you're trying to craft an adventure or a campaign set in Great Britain. Even if you're not running a game in Great Britain, even if you're just sticking to Seattle or another setting in North America, you're not even touching Great Britain, I think this is a great book to have, simply because of the level of detail that it goes into. I mean, like, it even has foreign relations with major countries. It has how does Great Britain see the Caribbean League? Well, you got this book right here. How does it relate with the North American states? Right, there's an entire section of it right there. There's a lot of detail in this book, and it'll help you. It'll help just reading this book, even if you're not intending to use any of the information in an adventure or anything like that, reading this book, just simply looking at it and studying it a little bit, will give you a deeper understanding of the Sixth World, and I think it'll make the world of Shadowrun seem more like a real place. I don't want to say come alive, because that sounds stupid, but I mean that's exactly what it is. It'll really help help get into the mindset that you're not just running adventures out of a book. You know, you're actually in a real place. You're in something that is a mirror image of our world today, with all of its intricacies, just in, you know, a little bit into the future, I guess. I don't know. I kind of lost that thought there. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and leave this video right here. Well, before I leave this video right here, I do want to say that this book I don't think is on DriveThruRPG. If I remember correctly, I tried to find it on DriveThruRPG and I couldn't. I'll take another look before I publish this video. If I find this PDF copy on DriveThruRPG, I will go ahead and put an affiliate link in the description below. Otherwise, you can definitely find this on. Well, I don't want to say definitely, but you can probably find this on eBay. You can find a lot of Shadowrun 2nd Edition stuff on eBay. As far as the price, that depends. I mean, Shadowrun 2nd Edition stuff is always funny with eBay. Some stuff you can find at a really great deal. Some stuff is extremely expensive. I got the 2nd edition of the Grimoire, the Magic supplement, off of eBay for, I think it was $15 including shipping, maybe. But then, you know, you got some other stuff that you want to go to find. If you come across a hard copy cover of the 2nd edition core book, you know, you're looking at least $80 to $100 right there, depending on the condition of the book. So, you know, it depends. I'm sure you could probably find it on eBay. What the price would be, a book like this, you're probably looking at anywhere between $20 and $50, depending on how rare it is and depending on how good of a condition it's in. You could also see if, you know, anybody has any Shadowrun lots up for sale. That's a great way to get a lot of Shadowrun books for really cheap sometimes. Or if you've got like a used bookstore in your area that tends to get old RPG stuff, maybe take a look and see if they've got any copies of this book over there as well. Anyway, there's ways you can find it. You just got to look for them. So anyway, now I'm going to leave this video right here. Let me know what you think about the London Sourcebook in the comments section below. Have you used this book to create runs in Great Britain? And if you have, how useful did you find this information that's in this book? Or do you just have it because it's a cool book and you like to have it on your shelf and it'll be like a little bit of a conversation piece? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, if you want to support the channel, if you liked what you saw, leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Both of those things will help me out quite a bit. We also have DriveThruRPG affiliate links and Patreon and channel membership links in the description below, and I will see you all next time. And that's the chip truth, chummers. Let me know what you think in the comments section, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more Shadowrun content. Hit that notification bell so you will always know when I upload a brand new Shadowrun video, and until next time, remember to shoot straight and never, ever deal with a dragon.